Oh, hi! How are you? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Thanks, yeah, I'm doing really well. So here we are, back to our beloved Bristol, and we're going to be looking at social change in Bristol. First off, what does social mean? Well, very simply, social is about how we live our day-to-day lives. So it includes aspects such as housing, entertainment, healthcare, and education. So let's have a look at how social change has occurred in Bristol. First of all, how is Bristol changing? Well, one of the main ways in which Bristol is changing is that its population is growing. So it has an actively growing population, so that now in the area surrounding Bristol there are 2 million people. Another factor about the population is that they are becoming increasingly ethnically diverse. So we can give this little person a baguette to represent the large number of European nations or nationals that are living in Bristol. We could give this person a little party crown and maybe some kind of flower garland. I know it just looks like a beard, but that's to represent the Bristol or St. Paul's Carnival. So we can see we have people of Caribbean descent living in Bristol. We have lots of Europeans and many other nations as well, so particularly Polish from Europe. We also have some Indians, second or third generation, as well as newly arrived. So we have a very ethnically diverse and growing population in Bristol. The reason that Bristol is attracting so many people, and to not just the city centre, which we can represent here, so there's Bristol, but the surrounding area, is because there are lots of transport links that link the surrounding area to Bristol city centre. This makes some people very happy, particularly businesses, because that's good for their workforce to be able to access Bristol, and likewise commuters, so that they can get to work easily and travel back out to living in the suburbs and the green space surrounding Bristol. Lovely. What does social refer to? Good. Housing, entertainment, health, education, the way we live our lives. What is happening to the size of Bristol's population? Good. It is increasing in number. It is growing. And what can you tell me about the cultural diversity in Bristol? Good. The number of ethnicities and a number of different cultures are also increasing. Which parts of the world do we have people hailing from originally, or from their ancestry? Good. We've got quite a large Caribbean community, African Caribbean community, quite a large number of European nationals, as well as people from the subcontinent of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Great. What is the population of Bristol and its surrounding area? That's it, 2 million people. And why are businesses and commuters so happy about Bristol? great because it's well connected by public transport surfaces such as roads and rail or train. Very nice. Right, moving on, we are going to look at some of the social opportunities that have come about because of this growing population. The first thing we're going to look at is the fact that sporting stadia have been developed and built. So sporting stadia, it's not just one, it's many, that being the plural. For example, Bristol Rovers, not top flight football, but still very strong supporters. Bristol Rovers have adapted a new stadium with the University of West of England. Stop right now! That's no longer true. Very annoyingly, I've just found out that the deal between University of West of England and Bristol Rovers fell through. However, the happy news is that they are looking to develop a new stadium on the site of the old fruit and veg market, which is to the east of Bristol Templemead Station. So hopefully that will be the new 20,000 capacity stadium of Bristol Rovers, which is one of two of the football clubs operating in Bristol. There's also a rugby club, I can spell. And all of these new stadia are going to provide space for conferences, offices, and some accommodation as well. This will help stimulate Bristol's economy and bring in the pounds. So, sport is one way that social opportunities are being provided for people in Bristol. As well as the stadium, we also have improved entertainment. So there's lots of nightclubs, music venues, where particularly young people and some people who think they are still young like to go and hang out. So this guy here, he's forgotten his dancing shoes. Let's pop those on him right now so he can really get into the groove. I mean, I would never be seen dead in such shoes like that. They look like my grandma's slippers, but never mind. Also, he seems to have a glitter ball in his face, clearly enjoying the nightclub vibe, which is part of the social opportunity offered by a growing and changing Bristol. We also have some cultural opportunities, such as the theatre. So the Bristol Old Vic is a well-known theatre across the country where many famous actors have trained and performed. So people will go to see plays. Here is my version of Hamlet that is being performed at an opening night. To be or not to be? That is the question. Well, actually, I have an HB pencil. Does that count? Obviously, that wasn't the line. So, theatres and other venues such as Colston Hall, providing lots of cultural opportunities for plays, opera, and the like. Finally, we have another type of entertainment, which is shopping. And in the very centre of Bristol, a large regeneration project has taken place to build Cabot. I just always need to check. Is it 1B Cabot Circus? 2/3 of which is shopping, entertainment and leisure. So within that we have a cinema, multiplex, we have shops, cafes and restaurants for people to socialise and enjoy themselves in a nice environment. The other 2/3 we will find offices have been created as well as flats, 250 of them. So this huge development in the very heart of Bristol is providing lots of jobs, of taxes for the local government, which they can then use to spend on other social services like healthcare or education. Some questions then about the social opportunities provided by Bristol's growing population. Which football club has developed a new stadium with the University of West of England? That's right, Bristol Rovers. Well done. What might the young, hip and trendy people like to do in the night time? Very nice. Go to nightclubs or music halls. Lots of entertainment for young people. What other cultural opportunities are there provided in Bristol? Good. Things like the Bristol Old Vic, where you can go and see plays and the opera. And what is Cabot Circus? That's right, it's a large shopping centre. What proportion of Cabot Circus is dedicated to leisure? 2/3 indeed. And what kind of other things apart from shops might I find in that leisure space? Multiplex cinema and cafes and restaurants. Well done. What's the other third used for of Cabot Circus? Great. Office space and 250 flats. Very nice. Why does the development of Cabot Circus in the centre of Bristol, why is that useful to Bristol City Council, which is basically the local government that runs Bristol? That's right, it provides jobs for people and also they can collect more taxes and they can spend that on the services. So Bristol's economy starts to grow as well because of its growing population. Now, lastly, let's have a look at the harbour side. As we know, Bristol used to be a major port city in the UK. And to accommodate all the imported goods and goods that were to be exported, many warehouses were built along the waterfront or along the harbour side. Just checking that it is, yeah, harbour front. But once the ports had closed, then the buildings were no longer needed and they fell into disrepair, becoming derelict and abandoned. Windows get broken, doorways get boarded up, small weeds and plants start to grow along the waterfront. And this was the fate of Bristol Centre, where the docks used to be, for a long time. However, there was a big regeneration programme to improve the harbour side, and those old derelict buildings were given a new lease of life and turned into opportunities for new businesses and offices. Restaurants, such as my aptly named Posh Cafe, where people would enjoy sitting out on the harbour front, enjoying their horrendously expensive cappuccino and saying, "Oh my, Mildred, isn't it posh here?" And Mildred would say, "I'm just enjoying the view, it's so lovely. By the way, have you seen that fitty in the canoe? He's enjoying the leisure time presented by the new opportunities in Bristol as well." And indeed, the waterfront was opened up for more leisure, such as boating and canoeing. As well as the opportunities for businesses and offices and cafes, other developments were taking place, such as the Science at Bristol basically exhibition, which is a big science museum where particularly school groups and visitors can go and do some hands-on experiments and kind of enjoy the environment around the harbour side. All of this is serving to attract lots and lots of visitors on those good transport connections from in and around Bristol down to the harbour side to spend their money and inject that economy with a new lease of life. Other things that were developed on the harbour side is we have an example of a nightclub on a boat. This boat is moored permanently and called Thekla, which I have been to myself as I was a Bristol graduate. In fact, this may well be me standing on the deck of the Thekla nightclub and shouting, "Party!" I would never do that. I'm too responsible. But again, this is something that attracts people to the waterfront, attracts visitors, stimulates the economy, creates more jobs, and provides tax revenue to help the government of Bristol to pay for things like schooling and healthcare. Sorry, you didn't get to see me shouting party because it was just off screen. But there we go. And every year they have the Harbourside Festival, and it's very popular and attracts even more people to spend even more money and stimulate the economy yet further. So, the regeneration of Bristol's Harbourside has created lots and lots of social opportunities. Let's have a few questions. Why did the original warehouses become derelict and abandoned? Yeah, exactly, because the port closed and so there was no need for them any longer. What were some of the old warehouses converted to do as a new use? That's right, they housed new businesses, offices, tech startups, cafes and restaurants, so lots of opportunities for those old buildings to be brought back to life and used. In what way were tourists and people from in and around Bristol attracted to the Harbourside? Great, yeah, we've got the Science at Bristol project, which is a new kind of science museum, as well as like nightclub opportunities like Thekla nightclub on that boat. Lovely. So there we go. These are our social opportunities in Bristol. Have a look at some of these pictures which show a few of the things we've just discussed. What word can we use to describe the fact that cities like Bristol have areas that are affluent and areas that are socially deprived? That's right, inequalities. So inequalities exist in Bristol. What is our example in Bristol of an area with high social deprivation? Philwood, well done. And what is our example of an area with low social deprivation and lots of affluence? Well done, Stoke Bishop. Good, right, well let's have a closer look at those two areas. I'm going to create for us a little table. So we will have Stoke Bishop over here. This is our more affluent area. And we will have Philwood over here, our more socially deprived area. And we're going to compare them in various ways. So first of all, let's have a look at the housing. Each area is characterised by a different kind of housing. In Philwood, we tend to have 50% of the homes are council homes, and the people rent their homes from them. The other 50% are owned by the occupiers, so the people that live in them, and we call this owner occupied. Contrast that with Stoke Bishop, where we have 81% of the housing is owner occupied. So many more people own their house in Stoke Bishop compared to Philwood. This is one difference and one social challenge that has been created in areas like Philwood, where people are a little bit poorer. It's not just the percentage that rent their homes. We can also say that many of the homes in Philwood are poorly insulated. That means they don't retain their heat very well, and so the homes get cold. This of course leads to higher bills, which the people of Philwood are going to find difficult to pay. And because it will often be a bit colder and damper, that leads to health issues and potentially lowers life expectancy. I'm determined to go off the page here, I'm very sorry. In contrast, the housing in Stoke Bishop is large and attractive, with many homes £1 million plus, especially in the area of Sneyd Park. So that's housing, comparing housing between our affluent area and our socially deprived area. Let's have a look at another aspect now. Let's look at education. And you know I love to do my letters to represent education. In our socially deprived area of Philwood, we have 36% of pupils getting top GCSE grades. In contrast, over in Stoke Bishop, that percentage is 94% get the top GCSE grades. That is a massive difference. And this then has significant knock-on effects in terms of life chances, the youngsters of Philwood are going to find it difficult to find jobs because they don't have the qualifications, to go on to study at a higher level. And all of these things mean that they will earn less in their lives. And so this cycle of poverty is perpetuated because the youth of Philwood are unable to access education in the same way that the young people of Stoke Bishop can. For them, life looks good. We go on to study, high-paying jobs, and a future of opportunity. So, educational attainment is a very important measure for the social inequality between two areas, and hints at one of the challenges that Bristol is still facing as a result of the inequalities within the city. We can also have a look at the number of degree educated people. In Stoke Bishop, it's 50% of people have a degree from a university. And so they tend to have high-paying jobs as professionals. That percentage is much lower in Philwood. Another aspect that we consider is health. And we've already decided or thought about the fact that the housing can have negative health implications because it's cold and damp, and there will be other aspects that also link to health. And unsurprisingly, the life expectancy in Philwood is 76 years. This is lower than the UK average. Whereas, you've guessed it, in Stoke Bishop, it is higher than the UK average at 83 years. Better housing, more able to afford medicine, probably visit the doctor more often because they're able to get time off work more easily potentially. Lots of things feed in together to start explaining these differences between different areas. In Philwood, we have high rates of cancer. So cancer is high. This tends to be as a result of lifestyle choices. So diet is often poor, smoking levels are higher, and these both feed into higher levels of cancer. It also has one of the lowest levels of sport participation. So we can expect that obesity is more of an issue, and that leads to other illnesses like diabetes. All of these diseases, diabetes, cancer, are going to be having an impact on that life expectancy. Whereas in Stoke Bishop, there are very few health problems to report on. People live longer and healthier lives. They have healthier diets, more active, and they actually have a low death rate because they are healthy. The last aspect that we're going to look at to compare these two areas is employment. And in Philwood, 1/3 of 16 to 24-year-olds are unemployed. That means that more people are poor. It means it is difficult for them to afford a lifestyle that is healthier. And so that feeds back in to all the other problems we have seen. And over half of the children are in low income households. Compare that to Stoke Bishop, where we have 3% unemployed, and only 4% of children live in poverty. Remember, one of the aspects of urban change in Bristol is a rapid population growth, a changing industry towards tech and highly educated professions. So richer people moving in from other parts of the country and other parts of the world are going to be taking the better housing, and that makes more apparent or makes a bigger inequality between the socially deprived areas and the affluent areas. So this urban change of growth and migration and industrial change towards technology has created more overt challenges for the socially deprived areas of places like Philwood. Let's zoom out and have a few questions on this before I set you a question. So, compare the home ownership between Stoke Bishop and Philwood. Very nice, good use of statistics. That is 81% of homes in Stoke Bishop are owned by the owner, whereas only 50% are owned by the occupier in Philwood. What can you tell me about the quality of housing between comparing Stoke Bishop and Philwood? Good. Stoke Bishop has a higher quality of housing, with houses that are large and attractive, and many are £1 million plus. Whereas in Philwood we have properties that are poorly insulated, and that will lead to higher bills and health issues. What is a good statistic to compare the education levels of Philwood and Stoke Bishop? Yes, very good. So Philwood have only 36% of young people getting the top GCSE grades, whereas in Stoke Bishop that is 94%. What is the benefit of having a good set of GCSE grades? Very nice. It gives you opportunities to go on to study, high-paying jobs, and therefore more opportunity in your lifetime. Which of the two areas, Stoke Bishop or Philwood, has a higher life expectancy? That's right, Stoke Bishop at 83 years. Give me 2 reasons why life expectancy is lower than the UK average in Philwood. Okay, and another? Excellent, that's right. So there's higher rates of cancer because of lifestyles such as poor diet and smoking, and also there's a very low level of sport participation, which leads to higher levels of obesity and illnesses like diabetes. Excellent. And finally, which area has better prospects for employment? That is it, Stoke Bishop, because 3% only are unemployed compared to the 1/3 of 16 to 24-year-olds in Filwood. So, lots to compare, and if we think back to the opportunities of the social opportunities of urban change in Bristol, we now have a counter-argument, an area of difficulty. I would suggest that probably we are still looking at opportunities significantly outweighing the challenges, but it is important to recognise that not everything is positive. Good. Now, let's have a go at writing a longer answer question. Right then, make a note of this question, please. To what extent has urban change created opportunities, that should say social opportunities in a city you have studied? This is worth 9 marks. And I would like you to give yourself just 10 minutes to try and write the perfect answer. I will allow you, or I'll encourage you, to go back to the screen where I had the zoomed out overview of everything we've been talking about. So use the video beforehand to help you write your answer. But only when you're finished, unpause this and jump forward to the model answer so that you can green pen your own. Okay, so set your timer for 10 minutes. Remember that you need to include an opinion, and then you need to have 3 well-developed points, 2 that agree with your opinion, and 1 that offers a counter opinion. Okay, pause the video now, and off you go. Okay, let's have a look at my answer. I wrote this in just over 10 minutes. I'm not saying it's absolutely perfect, but I am quite confident that it would get 9 marks. Let's have a look. I think that urban change has created many social opportunities. Now, in terms of an assessor, I would be thinking, great, I have an opinion that's been stated early on. I'm looking for more, but it's a good start. Social opportunities in Bristol, located in southwest England. Important to show you know the city that you're talking about, dropping information in. After the old port closed, many of the warehouses were abandoned and became derelict. I'd be excited by the use of keywords, important words like abandoned and derelict, as well as an understanding here that, of Bristol specifically, of what's happened. So that this would be giving me confidence that this person is providing evidence from their own knowledge. However, as a result of the growing population reaching 2 million in Bristol and the surrounding area, once again, a nice bit of particular detail for Bristol, lots of opportunities have been presented. So this is kind of definitely confirming the opinion and allowing me to think this person is heading for level 3 because I know where they stand. Notice also how I have talked about the changes that have happened. The port closed, the population's growing. That's key for this question. They're asking you about urban change, and I've shown I know what changes are taking place. Let's read the next paragraph. For example, the harbour side has seen many of the old warehouses renovated into apartments office space and businesses like restaurants and cafes. I like that point, and this is one of the opportunities the candidate is mentioning. This attractive environment encourages people from a wide area to enjoy the leisure facilities and take part in kayaking or visiting attractions like the Science Museum at Bristol. Again, lots of key information about Bristol, things that you can do, the name of the harbour side, and what the apartments are now being used for. These leisure opportunities, plus the nightlife such as Boat Club Thekla, once again something about Bristol, have improved people's social experience. So that is a very detailed piece of writing about the harbour side and linking it into the social opportunities that have arisen as a result. So I would be very happy with that, and once again this is telling me that this candidate is heading towards level 3. At this stage, really all I would need is a counter argument because these points have been so detailed, but you'll see that I did manage to squeeze another one in. But please note, I have not included anywhere near all the information we covered just in the session before this. And that's important. You don't have to put everything in. You just need to make some good points that answer the question. So let's have a look at the second point. Furthermore, redevelopment has happened in other areas, such as the building of Cabot Circus, 2/3 of which is dedicated to shops, cinemas and restaurants. That's a nice point, and it is specific about Bristol once more. There are also 250 flats as part of this development, which further improved another social aspect in Bristol. Great, he's answering the question and explaining to me how this has helped provide social opportunities. Although they are expensive and not everyone in Bristol can afford it. This is the counter argument creeping in. I would need more than that, but it's a good start. And then we read the final point, which will also include some kind of summary. This is the challenge. Although there are many opportunities, so once again, there is opinion here. The inequalities that exist between different areas like Stoke Bishop and more socially deprived areas like Filwood have been exaggerated by the influx of highly educated and wealthy people from around the country. Several things to point out here. Love the use of technical language, inequalities, affluent, socially deprived areas. Then we have specific examples in Bristol. Once again, nailing that case study. So that is a good point that has been made, and the fact that it's been exaggerated by the change that's going on in Bristol. Not everyone has good quality housing, and in some areas like Filwood, access to services like healthcare is poor and life expectancy is lower. If I'm going to be picky, I would have liked to have said than the national average. And we can state 73 years. That would improve that. This is a challenge that can't be ignored, but the overwhelming opportunities will hopefully stimulate the economy and help remedy this situation. Once again, overwhelming opportunities. This is just letting me know I haven't changed my opinion. I still think those opportunities are overwhelming. So, please green pen your own answer to improve it and add information in. Once again, look at how much yellow I have there, how much integrated case study specific Bristol information I have put in. Those are the kind of facts that you have to go away and learn so that you can drop them in to your answer should it come up in the exam. Alrighty, well done everyone, and have a nice break. Bye.